Hello, I'm Rex Childhouse, and because things on the internet seem to lose their date reference, today is Friday, July 22nd, 2022. I love to read. I love to read printed books. Do not care for reading stuff online, PDFs, whatever, Kindle. In particular, well, for I guess numerous reasons. I usually read for 45 minutes to an hour right before I go to bed, and using electronic stuff with that blue light stuff, whatever, doesn't matter. Just not the way to go. Plus, I find it kind of hard to highlight and make notes and whatever else. So, this is actually the third time I've read this one, Rendezvous with Destiny, and it's written by two guys that were in the 101st Airborne. They were charged with writing the history of the 101st Airborne Division's activities during World War II. Then some other stuff got added in. It's the basis for We Were Brothers, the television show, the miniseries, and Leonard Rapport and Arthur Norwood Jr. 800 pages of text, and then footnotes and biographies and whatever else. Intensive book, really good book. Shows a lot of the stuff. My dad was in the 101st Airborne during World War II. The problem with the book is it's so stinking big that the binding keeps coming apart, and it's, if you could see it, it probably broke up into 8 segments that were maybe 40 or 50 pages a piece, like this, and that kind of makes it hard to read. You get all these little segments. It actually makes it kind of easy sometimes because you aren't dealing with a heavy book. So wanting to keep it, I want to give to my daughters and my granddaughter. It talks about my daughter's grandfather and my granddaughter's great-grandfather. Wanting to keep it, I looked into rebinding it, contacted a rebinder. They said, oh yeah, we can do it. $150. Wait a minute. The book new costs $30. This one here used cost me, I think, $10. I think I bought it at Goodwill, so no price on it. Anyways, I bought it used. So I went through YouTube and did a number of Google searches on rebinding books, and I'll show you what I did, and it has to do with Gorilla Glue. So I'll show you what I did with this sucker. Here is the book I'm working with. Showed it to you earlier, and here's the title, Rendezvous with Destiny, about the 101st Airborne Division, my dad's unit, and this is the issue. It's coming apart. So here's other parts that have already fallen apart, and we need to get them in the right order. I've already I've already glued part of this, and what I'm using is I am using Gorilla's rubber cement because I have it from another project, and it's worked really well. And my concept is to glue, rubber cement being flexible, my concept is to glue this area of the bindings and then close the book so that we have contact in here, in the actual binding, in the back, whatever you want to call it, and then let it dry. So I have all my pages in order, and I love reading. I do not love reading the internet. Now we're going to apply ample amounts on the edge and try to keep them square. Try not to drip. One nice thing about rubber cement is you can just roll it off. That is both an advantage and disadvantage. So this could come apart. But because it's a book binding, we need something that's flexible, and rubber cement stays flexible. So we're working with rubber cement and make sure that we get all of it. With glue, you don't glue, proper use, and this comes from woodworking, proper use of glue, you don't glue one side of the material and then put two pieces of material together. You put glue on both sides of the material and then put the two objects together, and what really happens is you're gluing glue together. So the glue adheres to the surface on each side, and then the glue adheres to each other, and that's a very strong joint. And in woodworking, when you're using wood glues, which are rigid glues, unacceptable for this, the joint that you glue together is often stronger than the wood next to it, and if you were to put it on a press or a pull and pull it to fracture, you would find that the glue joint remained together and the wood broke, and that's not uncommon. Okay, so at this point we have a liberal amount of glue on all contacting surfaces, and I'm going to do some more just for the heck of it. Only got 4 ounces to play with here, so make sure I get down into the corner. Okay, so where I got the little extra bit of glue up on the page, just wipe it off. I'm wearing scrap jeans. Just wipe it off. It comes off pretty easily. And at this point, I'm going to fold it up, both sides, push it in, align it as best I can, push it in, get full contact down on the spline. And if you ever read this book, my dad was evidently associated with the 501st Infantry Regiment of the 101st Airborne Division, and one of his actions was mentioned on page 45 of this book because I took notes. Okay, so pushing to get contact, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put weight on this guy to keep him in place. And I didn't think about that ahead of time, so I'm grabbing things that are available. Kirkland almonds, chocolate coated almonds, never a bad choice. They do put weight on you. Planters peanuts, dry roasted. And we were at Costco the other day buying numerous things, and the Kirkland brand of salted peanuts was more per ounce than the Planters. So I took the Planters. My preference would be lightly salted or not salted, but whatever. Okay. Now it has to dry for probably 3 or 4 hours. I'm not sure if the instructions say. I can hardly read them. To me, they're too small. They're simply too small. So immediately contact, we'll put in contact, whatever. So this is what I'm trying. I'm trying it because it's flexible. I really like this book. It's about what my dad participated with during World War II. And it's the basis for the movie The Band of Brothers, which is incredibly factual. I would imagine that they've fantasized some areas. And at this point, I'm now going to let this set, and we'll see how it goes. The gluing using Gorilla rubber cement, flexible cement, which is acid-free. That's one of the tips I want to stress. Everybody recommends ensure that your adhesive is acid-free. I will stress that it needs to be a flexible type glue if you want to. Highly recommend it. Maybe take your Prospect glue and glue a couple of just pieces of bonded paper together and see how it works. See if it's even going to be a player. Worked really well for me. I was very happy with it. It worked very well. And this is the end result. Just Rendezvous with Destiny, the story of the 101st Airborne Division during World War II, and some comments about after World War II. Historic division, Battle of the Bulge, jumps into Normandy. There's a reason that the 101st did not participate in Operation Torch, which was Northern Africa, with the 82nd, then into Sicily, then into Italy, and it has to do with their capabilities, as in they were an airborne army, not an airborne infantry as the 82nd was. Kind of interesting. So, very happy with the book binding. It's now been 4 to 5 weeks. Been holding this thing up in reading it, sticking together. It's flexible. Occasionally I'm finding where the glue seep between 2 pages and just ease the pages open and wipe out with my fingertip the excess glue, and it goes right back together very nicely. So totally happy with the project and glad that this book is going to move on to my daughters and my granddaughter. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope that helps.